We are back. Hello everyone, I'm Tyler.
I'm Christy.
And welcome to our channel. Whether it's your first time visiting the channel or you've been following along since the beginning, welcome.
In today's video, we're going to put down our wrenches and caulk guns for a few minutes and take a look back at some of the biggest lessons that we've learned renovating this vintage RV. So if this is your first time joining us, we want to give you a little peek at where we started with Harvey here.
Harvey's a 1976 Dodge Cruise Air. It's a 21-foot motor home. It was in really rough shape when we got it. The smell was absolutely horrendous. It has been a huge project to take it to where we are today.
If you're a fan of the channel and have fallen in love with Harvey like we have, don't worry, he's not going anywhere. We actually still have a pretty sizable list of projects that we want to accomplish on him. So for this video, we are going to focus on the 5 things that we wish we knew before we started to renovate this vintage RV. But before we get to those big lessons, we thought we'd take a quick peek at some of the more obvious mini lessons that we learned along the way.
And there have been a tremendous amount of lessons learned. Don't forget to put the step in before the first test drive. Mistakes were made.
Residential roofing tar is not a good fit for RV roofs. If you're going to wire wheel something down to bare metal, make sure it's not going to rain.
Fiddle faddle. Don't do what I did. Take the front end apart before you try to replace the radiator and fan. Funny enough, you can't just jump a bent ladder back into shape.
Here's a warm tip. Make sure all the plumbing's connected before turning on the water pump.
Oh, the toilet's not even connected. Oh my gosh, are we dinguses?
Be careful. If you smile a lot, people will comment that you're weird.
Weird. And the last mini lesson is that Dodge dog houses painted black make the best Lord helmet costumes.
Thanks, Rick Moranis. Even with all those things, we've managed to create a pretty awesome RV.
Yeah, and we can't show you all those before clips without throwing in a few shots of where we are today with Harvey. Like we said, we have a lot more projects to go, including some decorating, but to see where it started to where it is now, it's a huge difference. And if you haven't seen any of the videos before leading up to this point, go back and check them out. We promise we try to keep it entertaining for you guys. A lot of you actually found this channel when we put together the full renovation part 1 video. And now that we've come this far, we're starting to put together the part 2 of that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And we're finally just starting to work on the 1973 Holiday Rambler. And we have another project that we can't tell you about just yet, but it is going to blow your mind. I think it's about the coolest thing I've ever seen. So stay tuned for that because you are not going to want to miss that for sure.
So here are the top 5 things we wish we knew before we started an RV renovation process. Number 5, basically don't plan to keep or reuse anything in the existing RV.
Yeah, when we first looked at this one, we walked in and it was pretty much intact. I mean, the smell was terrible and it was filthy, but we really thought that we were going to more or less just not lipstick the pig.
I was going to say lipstick the pig.
But we did not know the extent of what we were getting into. So one of the things with that is water damage. And we saw just a tiny bit of water damage up here. And what we learned was if you see even a little bit, the extent of it beyond what you can see is going to be probably pretty extensive.
Right. This stuff is like a sponge.
Yeah, and you can have water damage without seeing it. So if it gets to the point that you see it, then there's most likely quite a bit of work there.
So when you're doing improvements to things, it has a tendency to snowball. If you improve one part, you look at another part and say, hey, we need to improve that too. And so it kind of just, like I said, it snowballs and you're...
Before you know it, everything's new.
Right.
Because the old things you thought you were going to keep suddenly look pretty bad next to some of the new things that you put in.
Everything has to be perfect.
So things we wish we knew before we started this project, number 4. Everything takes so much longer than you think it will. And I am notorious for underestimating the amount of time things are going to take anyways. And actually looking back at some of the videos, it's hilarious. Like this clip, for example.
And hopefully by the end of the day today, we will have this back wall rebuilt.
I call her Christy Blue Skies.
Yeah. I always think that it's like, you know, here's what we have to do. Boom, 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 get it done. All right. So one of the pieces to that puzzle for us, which is kind of a number 4A, is that we don't have an indoor workspace. And that has made everything take so much time. So back in our earlier videos, we had this huge tarp before we did the roof that we had to put on and take off every time we wanted to work.
So the inside of the camper was our indoor storage for our tools and all of the stuff that we need and materials and whatnot. And so we would have to pull it out, put it back in. We were working under tents sometimes just to stay out of the rain. I mean, it was brutal.
So yeah, our work time consisted mainly of taking things out so we had room to work, bringing them back in for the night, taking them out so we had room to work. And then you never know where anything is. We were looking for things, tools and supplies constantly. So it's going to be a pretty important thing to have an indoor workspace when you're doing something like this, where you can just, at the end of the day, leave your tools where you need them for the next time you get out to work, and you'll save a lot of time that way.
Things we wish we knew, number 3. Bigger isn't always better. We decided to go with the biggest engine possible. I thought it was going to be a real benefit to us, driving us down the road, plenty of power. Turns out that it's a tight fit. You need a shoehorn to get that bad boy in there. And if you want to work on it, holy smokes, pretty much plan on spending the day taking things apart to work on the part you want to work on, and then another day to put things back together.
I don't think kids these days know what shoehorns are.
Right, shoehorns.
Sorry to our 18 and under audience.
Right.
Things we wish we knew, number 2. To do a project like this, especially a motorhome that has the engine and all of that goes along with it, you need a community of support somehow. So for us, it's been our YouTube subscribers or people who have commented with suggestions. We've used a ton of those suggestions, and it's helped us in so many ways as we've gone through this project. I mean, there's not a lot out there for some of these more vintage types of camper projects. You could also, you know, you might have a friend or someone who's done this sort of work before. You need some kind of resource. We are also in some Facebook groups that gear towards this kind of thing. And I don't know, tell me if you guys are in these groups, but some of them get a little mean. Like if you ask a question, they kind of treat you like you're a dum-dum.
I'm not dumb, I'm smart.
So, you know, just if you join the Facebook groups, just be prepared for that, I guess.
Things we wish we knew, number 1. Everything is so expensive. I mean, the amount of caulk and sealant and all the other little trim and the electrical and the plumbing and just everything. Like we said earlier, it just kind of snowballs, and it goes that way with expenses too. Like once you get started, you're just going to keep spending, spending, spending.
Yeah, it's easy to envision the big items that you think you need to purchase, like the tires or the air conditioner unit or a fridge or things like that. But it's those little things that they nickel and dime you. I mean, like one plumbing fitting is $15 and this roll of wire is $40. And don't even get me started on Eternabond tape or the ProFlex. Oh my gosh. So yeah, don't forget to budget for those small things. We have been keeping track of the expenses on this project pretty well. So this winter, when the days are shorter and it's freezing cold outside and we can't get out to do as much actual work, we're going to throw together a video for you that outlines those expenses. And so you can really have a good idea of what something like this is going to cost and whether it's something that you want to do.
Right. Plan a budget and hopefully stay within your budget. We threw ours out the window and like set it on fire and like, ugh. We did not have a budget.
Yeah, it's the truth.
We've got one more bonus tip. So stay tuned to the end of the video. And if you're in the middle of an RV project or you're starting a renovation project, hey, good luck.
Hey, good luck.
If you have any experience renovating an RV, or if there's something that we left out, send it down to the comments.
All right, so here's our bonus tip, and it's not necessarily something we learned along the way renovating this RV, but if you're watching this, maybe you're getting ready to or thinking about getting into a project like this. So one of the best places to find things like this is going to be the Facebook Marketplace. And some things you need to know is anything that's on there that's a good deal, either A, is a scam.
It's too good to be true.
Or B, it is a good deal, but you have to move quickly. So anything that's posted, a vintage RV, the seller, if they have it listed for a good price, is going to get probably literally 100 messages in the first few hours. So if you send a message that says, hey, are there any leaks? You know, what shape are the tires in? Can I come look at it next Thursday? They're going to skip right over your message. So you have to be super decisive, or at least make it seem like you are when you're replying. So your reply has to be, I'd like to buy your camper. I have cash. When can I come get it? And you're not signing a blood contract to buy the thing, but your message is going to be taken much more seriously. You'll get the chance to go out and look at it, and you can always change your mind. Or if you get there and the condition doesn't really match up with the photos and you want to kind of haggle on price, you can do it then. But if you're sending messages in advance, like what's the lowest you'll take, they're not even going to reply to you, and you'll have missed out on a chance to do a glorious RV project. So those are our big tips. We forgot one, which is actually the biggest one, which is you have to have fun when you're doing it. And there's times that even we will get to the point where we just look at each other and it's like we're too tired or too hungry or too whatever. And this just isn't fun right now. And you have to just take a break. But don't take a break forever. Get back to it, because dreams don't work unless you do. And you can wind up with an awesome RV to enjoy for many years. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in today, and we'll see you in some upcoming videos.
All right. Take care, guys.